Welcome everyone to another episode of Masterpiece Collection Theater. In this segment we like to feature some of our more exciting, more exquisite pieces from our collection. This episode happens to feature possibly my favorite series or action RPG style series of all time ever. It's from Software, called the Soul Series Kingsfield Collection. Now I do have other From Software titles. I'm trying to piece together everything they've made that I can get my hands on. Getting pretty close to a complete list, but that'll be a different video if down the road. But right now we're going to go over the Kingsfield. We're going to start with Kingsfield. We're going to go through. We're going to end with I'll show you the different games I have featuring, Kingsfield related style games. Now, this first one here, Kingsfield, this is the Japanese import of the game. Now it was never localized, to my knowledge, into English or even available to play on a NTCS system. So I know there are some mods out there. You can get PS2s that play region free. I do need to get my hands on one to play this game. This specific game caused a lot of confusion because this is Kingsfield 1 and technically this is Kingsfield 2. So if you're out there looking and you're looking up games and you see Kingsfield 1 and 2 and 3, so Kingsfield 2 ends up being 3. So similar to the Final Fantasy series where the numbering system kind of gets out of whack because of the Japanese releases and different things. You can have those issues, and this caused me problems. This is way back, a long time ago. I'm sure some of you more internet savvy people won't have the same issues as me, but this was 15 years ago. I found out there was a Kingsfield 3, and I was freaking out trying to search for it, but it ended up being that, like I said, that the numbering system is off. But that led me to find Kingsfield, the Ancient City on PS2, which happens to be Kingsfield 4. Go figure. However, so that search led me to that. Pretty cool. This is an excellent game. It was very underrated for a long time. I believe because of the popularity of From Software and the Demon Souls and Dark Souls series, this game has seen a hike in price. You were able to get it relatively cheap for a very long time. Excellent game. Still though, this right here, we're going to talk about this. This bad boy right here was gifted to me from EZ. This is from our childhood collection. And oh my gosh, this game, this has been around, this thing has traveled, this disc has seen so much action. We played that game, oh man, we were young, probably too young. I believe it's teen, so we were a little younger than that, but it scared us, man. We talk about like Resident Evil style game. It was terrifying, having to find the save rooms. You don't know what your next save room's gonna be. That's the kind of game you die, you're totally out of sorts. You lose everything if you haven't saved. So similar to kind of like the Soul series. Now when you die, at least you could go back to your body and get your souls, but this, you're dead. And that brings up a topic that if you are going to play these old games, this one especially, if you're going to be playing it on an emulator of some kind or ROM or whatever, avoid using save states, because that is part of the challenge of this game and many games like it. Is that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's around the corner. And if you're quick saving all the time, anyhow, I would recommend playing through it vanilla like it should be played. Here we'll go Kingsfield 2, and I've shown you those others. So that is the Kingsfield series. Funny story in Kingsfield. Now this is, at the time, you couldn't really kill NPCs in a lot of games. That's becoming more and more with the open world and the popularity of that kind of thing. You can interact with NPCs and kill them and whatnot. But yeah, in Kingsfield 2, we accidentally killed one of the main characters and we couldn't complete the game the first time we played through it. Now I have gone back and beaten that game since that time, but man, it's the kind of grindy game where you get to the end of the game, you don't want to have to play the game again right away. So anyway, I went back years later and played that. Now this is not part of, I would say, the Kingsfield series. However, you could think of it maybe as like a spiritual successor or something like that, but it's very similar. I wasn't aware of this game growing up. I thought it was a Japanese only game, and I believe the second version of this is region PAL or Japanese only. So again, if you want to get that, you'll need a modded PS2 or some other form of way to play that. But you can get that. I am trying to get that one, but it did see a spike in price as well. I picked this up at PRGE actually last year was one of the #1 things I was going for. Zoomed right in on it. It was the only copy in like the whole thing, so very cool to get it there. Next, we're gonna go into just kind of go over more. It was weird. There was a lull. Maybe the series wasn't popular, so the creators tried to kind of make something else. Eternal Ring and Evergrace on the PS2, and these are Agetec. So a lot of these were Agetec. Ashieware did the first two, which I kind of wish they still would have published it. I like the way they did it. And then Agetec started the PS2 era. I'm not sure who did the Japanese one. Who knows? If you know, let me know in the comments. But again, when the publishers and the stuff like that change, it kind of affects the game, the way the gameplay runs. I would have liked to have seen it stay the original, people that published it. And then again, Shadow Tower is also Agetec, so you've got the curve there going. And then once you get to PS3 era, when it starts becoming, you've got Demon Souls, which is Atlas. I believe this one had issue coming to PS3, and then I don't believe Xbox got it, some kind of exclusive or licensing rights or whatnot, but it was cool to see that Atlas put that one on there. And this, if you ask me, Demon Souls, the original, is possibly the best game in the entire Dark Souls or Souls series right here. If you have not played this game, unfortunately with modern gaming, the servers, they just recently actually stopped supporting the server on that one. I don't believe it's I know they remade the Dark Souls for PS4 and Xbox 360, Xbox One. I know they brought those to the modern console. I don't believe they brought Demon Souls, so there must be something with that one. But if you ask me, that is the that is the one that is more like, Kingsfield, that original grit that you want. Oh man, it's good. But that's not to say the other series aren't great. Of course, you've got Dark Souls, possibly the best. If you don't include Demon Souls in the Souls series, Dark Souls is probably the best of all the games. Dark Souls 2, I actually got this pretty cool. Pre-ordered this bad boy. Got the Black Armor edition, I don't even know. But it came in this cool steelbook. The armor was completely useless, but hey, I got it, so whatever. But yeah, so you've got that there. And then you skip to the next generation, PS4. We've got Dark Souls 3. This happens to be the Fire's Fate edition. So this has all the DLC for that game on there. Great price, $19.99. You can find that at most of your local stores that sell newer games. Or if you really want, because he already had 2 on PS3, and then this was only $20. So, but you can get the ports to PS4, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, all the DLC in a nice steelbook edition. I want to say it's $69.99. If you haven't played the series, make sure to grab that. That thing is beautiful. I almost bought it, but I was like, nah, don't need it. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look at my Kingsfield Souls series from Software piece of my collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Masterpiece Collection Theater, and look forward to more up and coming on Brothers Forge Gaming.